I was standing outside the graduation hall in my cap and gown when my phone buzzed. Mom's text. We're not going to make it. Your brother's BBQ ran late and we're all exhausted. You understand, right? I looked around at all the families cheering, hugging their graduates, taking photos. My best friend's mom walked over. Sweetie, where's your family? I forced a smile. They're running late. But I knew they weren't coming at all. My name is Madeline. I'm 22 years old. And that text message was the last straw. I just graduated with honors from State University, nursing degree, 4 years of working 2 part-time jobs to pay my own tuition because my parents said they believed in building character. You'll thank us one day, Mom always said. Meanwhile, my younger brother Tyler got a car for his 19th birthday, a full college fund, everything handed to him on a silver platter. My entire life had been like this. Tyler's baseball games were family emergencies. Tyler's breakups required family meetings. Tyler's parties took priority over everything. And my achievements? You're so independent, Maddie. You don't need us hovering. I'd saved my graduation on the family calendar 6 months ago, reminded them every single week, sent them the date, the time, the location, and they still chose a backyard BBQ over me. I stood there holding my diploma with no family, no flowers, nothing. I wasn't the golden one. I wasn't spoiled or dramatic. I was just forgotten. But what they didn't know, I was done being invisible. If you've ever been pushed aside by family, subscribe right now and tell me where you're watching from, because what happened next changed everything. That evening, I drove home. 2 hours in my car, still wearing my graduation makeup that had started to smudge from crying. I pulled up to my parents' house around 7. I could hear laughter coming from the backyard. I walked through the gate and stopped dead. There was a banner strung between 2 trees. Tyler's epic summer kickoff. The whole family was there. Aunts, uncles, cousins, music playing, food everywhere. Mom saw me first. Oh, honey, how was it? Did you get your little certificate? Little certificate? I felt something crack inside my chest. Little certificate? Mom, I graduated with honors. Dad didn't even look up from the grill. That's great, kiddo. Grab a burger. Tyler was holding court near the cooler, surrounded by cousins. He smirked when he saw my face. Don't be mad, sis. Not everyone's life events need a parade. Aunt Linda laughed. You're always so serious, Madeline. Loosen up. It's just school. Just school. 4 years of my life. Sleepless nights studying, double shifts at the hospital cafeteria and the campus library, graduating top of my class. Just school. Mom must have seen something in my expression because she got defensive. We didn't forget, sweetie. Tyler worked so hard on this BBQ. It's his last summer before he figures things out. You're already done. You don't need us anymore. Uncle Joe raised his beer. She's a big girl now, right? Everyone laughed. I watched my cousin snap a photo of Tyler cutting into a BBQ-themed cake. 5 minutes later, Mom posted it to Facebook. So proud of my boy. Zero mention of my graduation. I excused myself, said I needed to use the bathroom. I walked into the house and went upstairs to my childhood bedroom. Except it wasn't my room anymore. It was Tyler's game room now. Posters of his favorite bands covered the walls where my bookshelf used to be. I sat on the edge of the futon and pulled out my laptop. My hands were shaking as I typed into the search bar, "How to legally change your name." And I meant it. 2 weeks later, Mom texted the family group chat. "Family dinner Sunday. Everyone must come. Important announcement." I was living in a tiny apartment near the hospital where I'd just started my first nursing job. I drove home, arrived at 5 like she'd said. The door was locked. I knocked, waited. Through the front window, I could see everyone already sitting at the dining table, eating. Tyler opened the door. He looked genuinely surprised. "Oh, what are you doing here?" Mom said, "Family dinner?" Yeah, she meant actual family. This is about my college fund being redistributed since I'm taking a gap year. I stared at him. "What?" Mom appeared behind him, napkin in hand. Madeline, sweetie, this doesn't concern you. You're already settled. Don't make this about you. She smiled like she'd just said something perfectly reasonable. Then she closed the door in my face. I stood there on the porch for a full minute. Then I walked back to my car, sat in the driver's seat, and cried so hard I couldn't see. I drove 2 hours back to my apartment. Alone. That should have been the wake-up call. But it got worse. A month later, my cousin Ashley got married. I bought a dress I couldn't really afford. Did my hair. Showed up early. The seating chart was posted near the entrance. I found my name at table 12, back corner, with distant relatives I'd never even met. Tyler's name was at table 2, right up front with my parents. I sat down next to an elderly woman who smiled politely. Are you with the bride or groom? Bride. I'm Ashley's cousin. Oh, how lovely. During the toasts, my uncle stood up with his champagne glass. To Tyler, our future entrepreneur, and his amazing parents who give him everything. The photographer panned to my parents. They glowed. My mom actually teared up. The woman next to me leaned over. Which one is Tyler? That's my brother. She looked confused. Oh, I didn't know your parents had a daughter. That line shattered something inside me. I excused myself and went to the bathroom, locked myself in a stall and tried to breathe. When I came out, my mom was touching up her lipstick at the mirror. Why do you look so miserable? She said. You're embarrassing me. You seated me with strangers. She sighed. You're always so sensitive. Tyler's networking. You already have your career. I left the wedding before they cut the cake. But the final straw came 2 weeks after that. Dad called me. First time in months. Hey kiddo, got a minute? Sure. Tyler's starting a business. Needs about $8,000 for startup costs. I didn't say anything. We figured since you're making good money now and we helped you so much growing up, you'd want to invest in your brother's future. My jaw actually dropped. You helped me? Dad, I paid my own tuition. We gave you a roof. Food, that's worth something. That's called basic parenting. His voice hardened. Family helps family, Madeline. Unless you're saying you're not family? He hung up. I sat there staring at my phone. They only called when they needed something. I stopped answering the group chat, blocked my parents on social media, started documenting every text, every voicemail. Not for revenge, just so I could remind myself it was real. Because what they didn't know was, I'd already started something they couldn't undo. A week after my graduation, I'd gone to the courthouse. I filed a petition for a legal name change. I chose the name Madeline Rivera, my late grandmother's maiden name. Grandma was the only person in that family who ever believed in me. She died when I was 15, but before she did, she left me $3,000. My parents tried to hold on to it for me. I fought them for it, used every penny for textbooks. Grandma would have understood what I was doing now. I filled out the forms in the courthouse lobby, paid the filing fee, published the required notice in a newspaper in a different county so my family wouldn't see it. I saved every dismissive text from my parents, not because I wanted to hurt them, because I needed proof I wasn't crazy. My hospital supervisor, Carol, noticed I was struggling. One day during our break, she pulled me aside. What's going on? I broke down, told her everything. She listened, didn't interrupt. When I finished, she squeezed my hand. I changed my name when I left my toxic family, she said quietly. Best decision I ever made. I looked up. Really? Really? She connected me with a free lawyer through the hospital's employee assistance program. The lawyer was kind, professional. As an adult, you can change your name for any reason, and you aren't required to tell anyone, not even family. My court date was set 3 weeks out. I started separating everything, opened a new bank account, changed my emergency contacts at work. I was ready. The week before my court hearing, Dad called asking for that $8,000. The same week the judge approved my name change. She looked at me seriously. This is a significant step. Are you certain? I met her eyes. I've never been more certain of anything. She signed the order. I walked out of that courthouse as Madeline Rivera, and my family had no idea. Carol became my anchor. Changing your name is step one, she said over coffee. But you need closure, or this will haunt you. I shook my head. I don't owe them anything. Not for them, for you. I didn't want to listen. But then things escalated. Mom called my work. The receptionist answered. This is Madeline's mother. Is she there? The receptionist checked the updated roster. I'm sorry, we don't have a Madeline here. Mom called back 3 times. Finally gave up. Tyler started texting me. Why are you ignoring everyone? So childish. Dad left a voicemail. If you don't call back, we'll assume you're cutting us off. Is that what you want? I stayed silent. I was still in the family group chat, though I'd muted it. One night I scrolled through. Mom, has anyone heard from Madeline? Tyler. She's being petty because we didn't worship her graduation. Mom, I tried everything. Some people are just ungrateful. I screenshot it all. Carol saw the messages at lunch the next day. You know what you need to do. My therapist said the same thing. You don't need their permission to move on, but saying it out loud can help you let go. Then came the text that made my decision final. Mom, we're having Thanksgiving early, October 15th. Tyler's girlfriend's family is coming. You're welcome if you can be pleasant and stop sulking. Also bring $50 for groceries. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I typed back, I'll be there. October 15th. I drove to my parents' house dressed in clean jeans and a blouse. Professional, calm. I carried a folder. I didn't use my key. I'd mailed it back to them anonymously 2 weeks earlier. I rang the doorbell. Tyler answered. Oh, you actually came. Mom said you'd probably bail. I stepped inside. The whole family was in the living room. Mom, Dad, Tyler, his girlfriend, Aunt Linda, Uncle Joe. Mom's face lit up when she saw me. Madeline, you made it. Did you bring the grocery money? I took a breath. I need to talk to all of you. Dad didn't look away from the TV. Can it wait? Game's on. No. Something in my voice made him glance over. I stood in the center of the room and opened the folder. For 22 years, I tried to earn your love. I worked hard, stayed quiet, never complained. Mom rolled her eyes. Here we go. Don't interrupt me. The room went silent. They'd never heard me like this. You missed my graduation for a BBQ. You locked me out of a family dinner. You seated me with strangers at Ashley's wedding. You asked me for $8,000 after ignoring me for months. Dad stood up. We raised you. You fed and housed me. That's called basic parenting. You don't get a medal. Tyler laughed nervously. Why are you always so dramatic? I turned to him. You've never worked for anything in your life. And that's not your fault. It's theirs. Mom stood, her face flushed. How dare you come into our home? This isn't my home anymore. I pulled the legal document from the folder. And I'm not your Madeline anymore. I held it up so they could see the official seal. 3 weeks ago, I legally changed my name. I'm Madeline Rivera now, Grandma's name, the only person in this family who ever saw me. Mom gasped. Dad stepped forward. You can't do that. I already did. I changed my emergency contacts, my work records, my bank accounts. Legally, you have no claim to me. I opened my phone and started reading their texts aloud. You're already settled. This doesn't concern you. You don't need us anymore. Stop being dramatic. The room was completely silent. I didn't come here for an apology, I said quietly. I don't think you're capable of one. Mom's voice cracked. Then why did you come? To say goodbye. I placed 2 20s and a 10 on the coffee table. For groceries, since I was only invited if I paid. Dad's voice was softer now, almost pleading. Madeline, you're our daughter. No, I was your backup plan. your afterthought, but I'm not anymore. Tyler shook his head. You're really going to cut us off over this? I looked at him. You cut me off every day of my life. I just made it official. I turned toward the door. Mom's voice rose behind me. What will people think? I stopped, turned back. A small, sad smile crossed my face. That's what you're worried about? Goodbye. I walked out. Mom called after me. You'll regret this. I didn't turn around. I got in my car. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely get the key in the ignition. I looked at the house one last time in the rearview mirror. Mom was standing in the doorway crying. I drove away. No dramatic music, no movie moment, just quiet. And for the first time in years, I felt light. 6 months later, I got promoted to charge nurse. I was living in a small apartment I decorated exactly how I wanted. Plants on the windowsill, art on the walls, books on every surface. I had friends from work, joined a book club, started volunteering at a women's shelter on weekends. Carol and I still met for coffee every Thursday. One day, a letter arrived, forwarded from my old address. It was from Mom. I almost threw it away. But I opened it. It was an apology letter, sort of. We didn't realize how much we hurt you. We'd love another chance. Tyler dropped out of school. Your dad is so disappointed. The family isn't the same without you. Please come home. We miss you. I read it twice, and I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, no longing, just peace. I folded the letter and put it in a drawer. I didn't respond, not out of spite. I just had nothing to say. My life was full. Work I loved. People who saw me. Freedom to be myself. A week later, I ran into an old high school friend at the grocery store. Madeline, oh my God, how are you? How's your family? I smiled. I wouldn't know. We don't talk anymore. Her face fell. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not. She paused, then smiled back. Good for you. That night I wrote in my journal. They finally said they missed me. A year ago, that would have been everything. Now it's just words. I don't hate them. I just don't need them. For once, their silence didn't hurt me. It freed me. My phone buzzed. Carol. Dinner tomorrow? I smiled and texted back. Absolutely. I looked around my apartment. Small, but warm. Filled with photos of friends, co-workers, my life. Finally, I belonged. To myself. Changing my name wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming myself. My family wanted me to stay small, quiet, grateful for scraps. But I deserved more than that. And so do you. If you've ever had to walk away from people who were supposed to love you, I see you. It's not easy. Some days I still wonder if I made the right choice. But then I remember they didn't choose me, so I chose myself. If this story hit home, hit subscribe and tell me, where are you watching from? Have you ever had to set boundaries with family? Drop your story below. Your voice matters. Your story matters. Thank you for listening to mine.